Okay, so hi Zoe. First question is, what is the main purpose of feminism in your opinion?
Okay. That's a question?
Yeah.
Okay. The main purpose of feminism is to have equal economic, social opportunity for everyone basically, not just women, because there are people who are not women who don't have rights. I don't know, it's a very broad question.
Yeah.
But like in my life or in general?
Maybe in your life, like you personally, what does feminism mean to you?
To me, it's like the essence of justice, honestly, because feminism, if it's done the way it's supposed to, is intersectional and um, and inclusive, and it accounts for every type of person um, and all types of different communities who are marginalized. And it seeks to dismantle heteropatriarchal systems that are oppressing those certain groups of people.
Right. Okay. Next question.
So the next question is, what specifically was it about FMLA at your school that made you want to join it freshman year?
Yeah, so it was a space that was very open and safe. So, I mean, I went to a first meeting because it's like labeled as like the biggest feminist club on campus, which it still is. So like that's what appealed to me, but I stayed because it's in the Women's Resource Center room, and the atmosphere is just like very calming, and it's clearly a space where people are allowed to be honest, voice their opinions, criticize the school, criticize social norms, and also like be there for one another in a feminist context. Plus, like they do important activism on campus and outside campus. Yeah, that answer it?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me know if you need more context.
Okay. No,
These are also
good.
very like poorly designed questions, but
Yeah, that's fine.
we're gonna roll with it.
Okay. What events in your life, or like, are there any specific events that you can think of that triggered that motivation for you to support feminism, like as a whole?
Yeah, I think like feeling my whole childhood a little bit off in terms of how I thought of myself versus how I guess like the difference between how I saw boys and girls be treated basically my whole childhood. And it's not like I have brothers where like my parents treated like I only have a sister, so I don't know what that's like. But even in like school and like my life, I noticed that like I would act differently and be treated differently because I was a girl.
Right.
And I didn't really understand that nuance, and really until I got to college. Honestly, I understood sexism and certain things in high school, but it wasn't until I got to college when I realized how systematic this type of gender oppression is. And I'm so privileged in my life. I'm white. I'm like from a like upper middle class family, and I still felt like I was being treated differently. So like you can't imagine what people go through who are less privileged than us.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, yeah, it was a personal thing for me, and that's the mantra of the '70s feminist movement. Like the second wave is like the personal is political.
Right.
And that's really true for me.
Awesome. Thanks.
All right, so the next question is, what do you think that you personally can add to the feminist movement?
Or to FMLA, like specifically.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I can add because I have an academic knowledge of feminism because I'm a women, gender, and sexuality studies major.
Mm-hmm.
So, in addition to my own personal experiences, which every feminist like brings to the table in those kinds of spaces, I also can maybe provide a little extra like academic knowledge about feminism because I've taken theory classes, I've I'm majoring in that field, so I think that my contribution in terms of activism can enhance the club's activism because I understand it from a scholarly perspective. What makes activism work? What historically has been done in the movement? So I have that knowledge to bring.
Right. Okay. Next one is, so you said that one of your main focuses is body positivity. So how do you think that body positivity connects with the overall message that we talked about of feminism?
Okay, I have a lot to say about this. Body positivity is like the ultimate radical, like, rejection of European Eurocentric beauty standards that the patriarchy has basically placed on women for centuries. And the reason that women feel insecure about their bodies is because we live in a capitalist industry and society in which companies benefit from our insecurities. That's how they sell products. You don't like your skin, they have a product to fix it. You don't like your hair, they can make it. They have tons of products to fix it. Like, it's on and on. Like, weight, dieting pills, like, everything is an industry. And the moment that you reject that and you say, no, I don't need that stuff to be or feel beautiful, I just am the way I am, and the things that they're showing, like Photoshop and makeup and all these, like, unrealistic beauty standards that they're showing is not me, and it doesn't have to be, and it's kind of this radical acceptance of who you are in your body without having to say, no, I would be pretty good if I just looked like this. Like,
right.
That's not how anyone should feel. You go crazy. So I think it's the ultimate stance for feminism in a way, because it's a rejection of the hegemonic systems of oppression that kind of encourage this negative talk in our heads, and it's like this liberating feeling of being like, no, I love my body,
Right.
All right.
Kind of
So
similar to that, but yeah.
yeah, so this next question is kind of the same thing, but like, you said there was like a Love Your Body Day thing. So like, why is it special to you and others at your school?
And also just like explain what Love Your Body Day is and like why it's so special to you.
Oh, like explain what the day is?
Yeah.
So it's been a tradition in FMLA before I came to college, but it's essentially like we set up booths in the main lobby of the student center. So it's not really an event as like you come and sit down and like do the things. It's like people walk by it and participate kind of like as they go, and it's like a 3-hour thing that's set up. But basically we have booths that have signs like your scars are beautiful, you don't need to shave, decolonize body love. Like, there are a lot of different like messages. We have a bunch of posters, and we usually do new stickers every time. So like last year, the mantra on the sticker was, there is no wrong way to have a body, and this year it said weight does not equal worth. So the event is basically a celebration of our bodies in any capacity and way that they are, and kind of like emphasizing the diversity of women's bodies by like having pictures, and like we have this like outline, how you do in like second grade, like outline of your body on like a big page on the ground, and then we put like sticky notes where people can write like positive things about their body and like place it where they are talking about. They're sometimes really funny ones, like I love my butt, like okay, you need to put that in. And yeah, so it's important to me because it's like it's not really enough to just like have a meeting, because we do have a meeting like prior to the event being about body positivity, and like that's great, but it's only for like a few members, and like it's more of like an action based type of demonstration where like everyone walks by and it has to be reminded that it's okay to love your body, and it's also okay not to love your body, but it's like it's normal to hate it in a way, and like it's like kind of showing that like you're not the only one who is told to hate their body, like, but join us in this like radical notion that like you don't need to, you know?
Right.
So it's important because it's like a widespread thing, and I also think it's like even, and it's no one's perfect. It's not like you achieve body positivity and then you're like set for life. Like it's a daily, constant thing that everyone has to go through, and it's a process. So I think the fact that like we have it yearly in the same kind of like competitive way, even though it does like enhance and change over the years, is like it reminds people every time, and like even me like being on keyboard going to it every year, like that day I'm reminded, like, you know.
Yeah.
So I think that part of it is important.
Okay, so what are yours and FMLA's goals for this semester, or like the future of the club?
Well, last semester we really tried to have kind of a switch, because there was a switch in leadership. So we kind of tried to, it was more academic feminism before this, but when the last president graduated, we kind of tried to switch the club to more grassroots activism based work. And what we did last year to do that was we had period packs, like we made period packs, so in each thing was like a pad of tampon and like a chocolate, and we handed them out around campus and had people donate to Rosie's Place, which is the women's shelter in Boston. And we raised quite a lot of money, but while also handing out free period stuff. So that was really cool. We also do Sexual Violence Awareness Week, which is always like a goal of ours, but especially this year. I mean, we have an event, it's in the spring, we have an event every day for it. And especially with the recent news, it's like going to be really important this year. I'm not going to be there, but that doesn't matter. Yeah, so I would say like grassroots activism. We're like more trying to lean towards that.
Cool.
Gotcha. Our last question is sorry. What's your favorite FMLA event that you've guys done?
What's my favorite FMLA?
Yeah, event. Like, what's your favorite event? Yeah.
It could be something we already talked about.
Yeah.
I mean, I do love Your Body Day. I was trying to think of something different, but we do have like a feminist coffee house, which I also love. It's like people basically sign up and like it's like slam poetry kind of, but it's like, I mean, it doesn't have to be like feminist or whatever. It's just kind of like anything you want to say, and I've performed some poems there. But it's really nice to hear people's truth, because poetry is a very feminist act, as Audre Lorde says. I don't know if you guys read her,
I think so.
But she says feminism for women is not a luxury. It's kind of like an essential thing that needs to happen in order to express yourself and your feelings, and it's a very like liberating process, and that in that space we allow for that to happen, and while speaking it and hearing it, it's like it's important for everyone like involved in that.
Gotcha. Well, I think that will be awesome. That'd be good.
Yeah, that's it. Thank you so much.
Was that good?
Yeah, it was really good.